The world is not a wish-granting factory, because if it were, we'd have a lot more books like The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The Fault in Our Stars is the story of Hazel Lancaster, a girl in Indiana who's 33 half years old. Yeah, you or I might say 16 and a half, or even just 16, but when you're dying slowly but inevitably of cancer, you take every half year you can get. At a support group for teens with cancer, Hazel meets Augustus. He's good-looking and funny and smart, and he seems to be really interested in Hazel. He also has an intense interest in metaphoric gestures, and in living a life that's significant, that's worthy of being remembered somehow. Augustus has lost a leg to his cancer, although when he and Hazel meet, he's in remission and he seems to be in pretty good health. Later in the book, Hazel and Augustus are telling Hazel's parents a story, and Hazel says, "You have a choice in this world about how to tell sad stories, and we made the funny choice." It seems like John Green, in this book, The Fault in Our Stars, has made the same choice, and I think the cover represents this well. Hazel and Augustus are both under a pretty dark cloud, through no fault of their own. The fault is just in their stars. But they've got a pretty bright outlook on things. The Fault in Our Stars is a classic love story, but don't let that put you off, if that's the kind of thing that would put you off, because it's so much more than that, too. It's funny and smart, and there's this adventure in it as well. Hazel loves this book called An Imperial Affliction, and she loans it to Augustus, and he really likes it too. And so the two of them start up this correspondence with the book's author, Peter Van Houten. He lives in Amsterdam, and so the two of them start plotting how they might go to Amsterdam to visit him and talk with him about his book, because they have a lot of unanswered questions. This book is John Green at his very best. It's got all the stuff we've come to expect from a John Green novel. It's honest, it's funny, it's smart, it's got rich vocabulary used in really surprising and entertaining ways. And I also think John Green is really growing as a writer. One of the things that he didn't have much in his earlier books that he has here done really well are relationships between teens and their parents. Do you want to know how I know if a book is really terrific? Not just great plot, great characters, but really outstanding and a cut above? I start wanting to write 10-page papers about it. Geek. Okay, I promise not to go all grad school lit geek on you, but seriously, we have here an author who's writing a book about a kid with cancer, and in that book is an author who's written a book about a kid with cancer. There's also all the imagery of stars, and I would love to track that more carefully. There's references to Gatsby and the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and a hamster named Sisyphus, for heaven's sakes. Just the lengths of chapters 12 versus 17 is fascinating. And there's a single paragraph on page 148. I could spin a 10-page paper out of that alone. At one point, Hazel asks Peter Van Houten what happens to his characters after the book is over. And he says to her, "That novel was composed of scratches on a page, dear. The characters inhabiting it have no life outside of those scratches. What happened to them? They all ceased to exist the moment the novel ended." Hazel refuses to believe that, and I don't believe it either. Hazel and Gus will live with you long after you put this book down. So you need to go read The Fault in Our Stars right now. Okay? Okay.